Hi folks, this is Tabi Asobi, and today I will show you how to use Final Fantasy XVI's best boy, Torgal. Who's the cute good little furry doggy you are? Anyway, Final Fantasy XVI's Torgal is proving to be one of the game's more popular characters even before launch, and for good reason. The quote-unquote fine hound is undeniably adorable. Then again, Torgal ain't just some fine canine eye candy. This cute wolf actually has one nasty bite, and can certainly help Clive Rossfield dispatch foes, both big and small, as a lean, mean combo machine. On that note, here's how you can use Torgal's sharp fangs to your benefit as part of Final Fantasy XVI's combat. So how do you get Torgal in Final Fantasy XVI? Well, the good boy will automatically join you as a fighting partner in Chapter 8. So you'll be able to use Torgal for the first time at the Great Wood Forest. You can actually manually access Torgal's moves by pressing left on your controller's D-pad, which lets you swap between your item shortcut and Torgal's moveset menu. By the way, don't be a goof like a certain person with a YouTube channel who was not paying attention and ended up using a ton of potions, high potions, and stone skin tonics accidentally because he forgot to, switch from the item menu to the Torgal menu multiple times before issuing a bunch of commands to Torgal. The lesson, as always, is I'm an idiot. Anyway, from Torgal's quick shortcut, you can give him 3 commands. The first one is Sic, which you can command Torgal to do by pressing up on the D-pad. This one orders Torgal to attack an enemy, and it is his basic attack. Up next is Heal, which you can command Torgal to do by pressing right on the Torgal menu. This will make Torgal cast Cure on Clive. Just remember that it will only heal recoverable damage, so it won't bring back health that you've totally lost on your health bar, like a potion or high potion would. And then last but not least is Ravage, which can be accessed by pressing down on the D-pad with Torgal's menu active. This is actually Torgal's second attack, and it also comes with a secondary effect by launching smaller enemies in the air. Up next, I'm going to talk about a mechanic that involves Torgal called the Perfect Sic. Yeah, so the first time I started using Torgal, I actually thought that he was kind of underwhelming. So, I'd use his healing ability, and I didn't know that it was just recoverable damage at the time, and I'm like, what? It's not working. And then I'd use Sic or Ravage, and I'm like, it's not really doing that much. And so I was initially disappointed by his seemingly minimal impact. That is, until I realized that I was actually using Torgal wrong. Yeah, user error right there. In fact, maybe I should just change my channel's name to User Error. Probably the best idea I've thought of in a long time. Yeah, so eventually I'd learned that, Torgal's Cure only works on recoverable damage on the health bar, and that's signified by a darker shade of green compared to the normal neon green. You'll actually appreciate Torgal more during a boss fight when you're out of potions and then notice that you have a large chunk of recoverable damage on your health bar. You might need to ask him to heal you more than once in order to fill the whole thing, but it's really nice to have. Ravage, meanwhile, is great at not just stopping small enemies, but also starting air combos against them, particularly when you follow it up with a Phoenix Shift, which is basically the iconic ability that you have when equipping the Phoenix icon. And then through the course of playing the game, another thing I noticed is that both Sic and Ravage have powered up forms. I actually realized this during a session in the training hall while I was reviewing the game, and then I noticed that there was a setting on the tutorial menu that allowed you to toggle on Torgal's Sic timings on screen. And by Sic, I mean SIC, not SICK, although Torgal's combos can look sick. Yeah, so from that, I'd eventually learn that you can actually power up Sic or Ravage if you immediately do them after Clive knocks back an enemy. So doing that will make Torgal glow brightly, and then he'll do a powered up version of both moves. So a Perfect Sic would make Torgal do a spinning roll in the air, a la Sonic the Hedgehog, or I guess Blanca from Street Fighter. A Perfect Ravage, meanwhile, will cause Torgal to do a spinning drill attack instead. Against small enemies, the final part of Torgal's Perfect Ravage changes depending on whether the enemy is on the ground or in the air. If they're on the ground, Torgal will launch them in the air per usual, but if they're in the air, which happens like after a 4-hit combo from Clive for example, Torgal will bite them and slam them into the ground, allowing you to follow up and extend the combo with Clive. Perfect Ravage, by the way, usually does more damage than Perfect Sic. I'm not sure though which does more stagger damage. Regardless, ending a 4-hit combo with either Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage adds either 38% or 48% more damage to that base 4-hit combo, which adds up over time. Anyway, here are examples of moves that can be used to perform a Perfect Sic with Torgal. And by Perfect Sic, I mean Perfect Sic and also Perfect Ravage. Number 1 is Clive's 4-hit sword attack combo. So you can either press the Sic or Ravage button right after the 4th hit to perform a Perfect Sic or a Perfect Ravage. This will basically be your bread and butter combo because it's easy to time and can be done with your eyes closed by doing it after the 4th button press or listening to your sword hits if you're a button masher, which I admit I can be at times. The next move that can trigger a Perfect Sic is a Magic Burst combo. So once again, pressing Sic or Ravage after a Magic Burst can also result in a Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage. Do keep in mind that the Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage can only be triggered by the 4th, or basically the final burst of a Magic Burst combo. This means that you can usually only pull it off on smaller enemies, because they're easier to kind of lock with a combo, or basically downed medium or large monsters. And then the third way to trigger a Perfect Sic or Ravage is by doing Clive's Limit Break Sword combo. Now this one's longer than the basic sword combo, but basically commanding Torgal to Sic or Ravage at the end of the combo, which is right as Clive hops up a little bit off the ground for the last hit, will actually result in a Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage. Normally, I like doing this on the fully staggered enemies, so I can basically repeat the process until my limit break meter runs out. That way you inflict the full damage, as opposed to having to pause in the middle, because the enemy moves or attacks you. And then the fourth way to trigger a Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage is by using the Burning Strike. So basically, if you hold and charge your attack button, you'll be able to do a Burning Blade attack. And then if you press Sic or Ravage right after, once again, you'll be able to trigger a Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage. You can then follow this up with a Gap Closer, like Phoenix Shift, Deadly Embrace, which is Garuda's iconic ability, or just the basic Lunge, which you can do on the PlayStation controller by pressing square and X at the same time. And then last but not least is Precision Dodge. Yeah, so pressing Sic or Ravage right after performing a well-timed evasion will let Torgal do a Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage once more. For folks who like to multitask, you can also press Clive's attack button at the same time, allowing you to start a combo with Clive as well. I actually got really addicted to this and I kept doing it. It's just so much fun. I mean, needless to say, I actually became addicted to using the Torgal combos as well, overall. So much so that my left thumb started feeling sore for the first time since my days playing the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I haven't had that feeling in a long time. Now for folks who think, well, that all sounds like a pain, can Torgal just combo automatically? The answer is yes. All you need to do is equip the Ring of Timely Assistance, which you get at the same time as Torgal, and then your pet wolf will automatically heal and execute combos with proper timing. This is great for folks who just want to play without having to juggle multiple combat mechanics. It also helps during times when you, say, trigger a limit break, as well as Garuda's Whirlwind ability at the same time, because then you can't see Clive, because of the huge dirty whirlwind, which makes manually comboing against larger enemies with Torgal more difficult because you can't see him. Like John Cena. I'm starting to think of ice cream for some reason. Do keep in mind that when you do use the Ring of Timely Assistance, Torgal will execute moves randomly, which can make your combos unpredictable, especially against enemy mobs. Like sometimes you want to keep them on the ground and then all of a sudden Torgal just launches them in the air. Personally, I prefer having a bit more control and not using up an accessory slot just to get auto mode Torgal, so I almost always command him manually. Yeah, so you get 3 accessory slots, and normally you'd like to put other stuff in there. Like, accessories that let you get more experience, more money, or more ability points, to name a few. Or maybe accessories that beef up your stats. Now, for the final part of this video, you might be wondering what are good examples of combos with Torgal. Oh my gosh, too many to list actually. I mean, I kind of listed a few of them earlier, which are part of the openers that I talked about, which are essentially mini combos in themselves. Because, when you think about how Torgal can be used as a combo starter, a combo extender, or a combo finisher, there are just so many combos that you can do. I mean, you can just basically insert him at various phases of a combo, and it'll work. And like I said, you can combine several mini combos. I mean, there are some bread and butter combos that I use with Torgal that can actually take down or basically kill any small enemy after combining 3 mini combos together. Anyway, as long as you remember what moves can trigger a Perfect Sic or Perfect Ravage, you can just start throwing them into your combos out of habit, depending on what you're doing. And there you go, how to use Final Fantasy XVI's best boy, Torgal. As always, if you have any thoughts or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Once again, this is Tabiasobi, and thank you for watching.
Get it, boy! You like that, don't you?